All right, fuckers, welcome to another episode of Necro Electric. You might be wondering what the fuck is going on with these two. On our Patreon, they wanted us to have a makeup contest, so me and Diego had a 10-minute time limit to demonstrate our skills.
Or lack of.
So if you guys go on Patreon, you can check out the whole thing and then let us know who did better.
Yeah, please comment right now. Does Kylie win or does Susana win?
Yeah, you can write it in the YouTube too. All right. Jumping in, I'm Sean. Sup?
I'm Danny Filth.
This is this juggalo next to me is my beautiful wife, Kylie.
Gorgeous.
And then we got the heart forehead stamped kitty cat.
Cat meow.
Something like that. Or kiss. Failed attempt at kiss.
Susana. What's our fucking theme?
Quite fittingly, our theme is what the fuck.
What the fuck? So like stories that are just like what the fuck moments?
Yeah.
All right.
Stories that'll literally make you say what the fuck.
All right, I got some. And it's feeling better in here. We got some AC.
Yay.
Next time I'll probably run it a couple hours before.
Yeah.
Give it a little bit
It's
more.
okay, it still feels a
but it's like 100 fucking degrees in the warehouse, so it's nice in here. All right, what the fuck stories? All right. One time, I never told the Denny's dirt pipe milkshake story, right?
Mm-hmm. I got something on your face, though.
The fuck was that?
I don't know. What the fuck?
It was makeup.
What the fuck?
Makeup.
All right, so back in my single days, I went on a date, like an app date or whatever, and I met this broad at Denny's. And I went there, and she seemed a little off, and we were just like eating and talking, and then like you do on first dates and shit, we were asking each other like, oh, what's like the craziest thing you've ever done or whatever, you know? And then she was like, have you ever heard of a dirt pipe milkshake? And I was like,
I can already guess what that is. And
That don't sound right.
what the fuck?
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
I should have known, I guess, but I was like, I have no idea what a dirt pipe milkshake is. And then she was like, it's when the dude does you in the ass and then jizzes in your mouth, and that's a dirt pipe milkshake. And I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna finish up these moons over my hammy, and then I'm gonna bounce. Because, I don't know.
You're like, were you trying to
Where did you
get
find
me
this lovely specimen?
I don't even remember.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
That's a what the fuck, right?
Did you say what the fuck?
In my head.
Oh,
You were nice
wanna be
about it?
rude.
Were you like, oh yeah, that's cool.
You can see it in my face,
And they go,
That is quite the interesting thing to talk about on a first date.
Yeah. Well, we used to have this thing, me and my friends, when we were all single, that like we would just try to say like the most ridiculous shit to girls to see if they would hang or not hang.
oh.
And I would just ask, just crazy questions, and sometimes you get crazy answers. And sometimes they're even too crazy for me. So what about you guys? You ever been on a date, like a first date, and somebody ask you something fucking weird? Or tell you that they did something weird at your face?
I'm pretty sure.
Actually, we met, and so we met online, actually, and talked for
Shout out to Plenty of Fish.
Yeah, talked for like 3 weeks before we actually met in person. We like texted and everything, and then I think it was a couple days, maybe 2 or 3 days before we actually met up for our first date. He was like, hey, I have this YouTube channel and you should watch it before we go on our date. I was like, oh, okay. So he sends me these links.
To pause. This is before podcasts. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this
it was literally just
I was a
him.
fucking innovator, because basically it was what you see today, but just by myself.
Yeah. It was literally him standing in front of a camera, just like talking like it's a video diary.
Oh, okay.
Which, cool. Yeah. I was like, okay, this is strange. Like, he just sends this to all his first dates, I guess. I don't know.
I was trying it out.
Yeah, but he was, like, talking about all this stuff about his life, and, like, I actually thought he was kind of a douchebag. I was like, what the fuck is this? This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah,
Innovation.
but he's cute. I'll give him a chance.
I'm gonna just go so that he can explain himself.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
pretty much.
curious. Get extra popcorn.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I took them all down. It was just like an experiment, but it was literally a podcast before there were podcasts.
So
Yeah.
it's like a pre-podcast vid.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was practice for Necro. What about you? Did you get some
man.
weird requests or weird stories?
Man, there was always like this, nothing weird, but scary.
Oh.
Scary?
Scary
Uh-oh.
shit would happen like on a first date.
He's like, you got nice skin.
Like some crazy shit like that. Like this one dude, like I was gonna go on a date with him. He's like, meet me at my house, and we had been dating for like maybe 2 weeks, just hanging out, getting to know him, whatever. And I go to his house, and we're supposed to take off from there somewhere, and he's clearly coked out. You can tell.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, like I need to leave. And I'm young, like maybe 18, 19.
He's checking his email, vacuuming, painting a wall.
Yeah, he's like doing all kinds of stuff, and then he starts talking about like some deep things, which I'm like, okay, he's in a good area right now in his mind.
Yeah.
But then it completely twists with the one word, which I don't know what it is that it was, but I know it was one thing, one comment, and he completely turned like crazy.
Really?
And I literally like ran to my car as fast as I possibly could, locked the door, and like I remember he was at my door like that, and he's like dun dun dun, and I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna kill me, like this fucking guy's crazy. He was from California.
Another guy?
Not sure I California, but he was from California. And I was like, what the fuck? Just like looking at him, and I'm like, no man, I'm leaving. Like, we're not even trying to go out. And then he's like, roll the window down. I was like, oh fuck. So I cracked it just a bit. And I was like, what? And he's like, run. And I was like, what the fuck? I can't. I'm gonna drive off.
Run.
I never spoke to that fool again. Like, he was crazy. And I was like, motherfucker.
That's fucking
I
nuts.
showed up on a first date once wearing the exact same thing that my date was wearing.
Really? What the fuck?
What t-shirt was it?
It was just a plain white tank top. We were both wearing plain white tank tops, Levi's blue jeans rolled up at the bottom, and Converse. Converse. We were wearing the exact same thing. We both looked at each other like, what the fuck?
Shit. That always happened at school. Like if you're wearing the same shirt or something.
Yeah.
Some girl. Oh, shit. That's funny.
I've had people say what the fuck to me. Like when I was a little kid, I shared the super nipple story, right? The long ones.
Oh, yeah.
There was another girl named Jessica, right? We'll just say first names. And we were doing something at school, and she flashed us.
Oh.
And again, I was like young and impressionable, and I was like, she had like big areolas.
Oh, okay.
Not the nips, but the actual like
So
skin
not
around it.
pepperonis, they were like salamis.
Yeah,
He was like-
balonies.
Balonies.
And I was like, whoa, that's
That was like...
it fucked me up, right? And I was like, whoa, you got like super nipples, right? So I said that to her, right? And then everybody's like, oh, super nipples, like this and that, right? And they started calling her that for a long time.
Damn.
Now flash like nearly like 15 years later,
Yeah.
we're at a 7-Eleven, me and Adam again, right? And we run into her, right? We haven't seen her since, because after that year I went to Reno, Adam went to Fremont. She like comes running up, and she's like, oh my god, it's Adam and Sean, like blah blah blah, how are you guys? I haven't seen you in like 15 years. And I was like, super nipples, what's up? And then literally the happiness in her face just went and then she's like, you fucking asshole, what the fuck?
Like she's like...
Yeah. it had like a deep root somewhere of hatred.
Yeah.
And then she just turned around and was like, peace, and fucking walked off.
Yeah, that's not very nice.
Yeah.
And then in my head I was like, why did you say that? That was mean.
Like,
But it, you know, in my head, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work right or something.
he put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, it wasn't appropriate for me to say it.
Yeah, there's all kinds of boobs, shapes, sizes, nipples.
Oh yeah, well now I know,
now you
and I'm
think,
more sensitive
like,
to it.
not
but-
on the same person.
Not even your thumbprints are like.
It was just my first time, like experiencing different
Yeah.
things, you know.
Yeah.
So it was kind of
man.
fucked up that I said it though.
The first time I saw a penis, it was not circumcised, and I was not prepared for that. I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
That's what you said.
In my head.
Yeah, I don't want to be rude, but. Dude, penises are.
I mean, I'm not saying that's bad. It's just like I was not prepared for that.
Yeah, like I didn't see this at school.
Like that's not what's widely advertised.
See, it goes both
Funny.
ways.
Yeah, it does, you know. But she wasn't like, oh, a little uncircumcised
You're
man.
expecting
like,
a showpiece, and you got something else.
Oh, goodness. Moving on.
What are other what the fuck stories? My mom was like, what the fuck? One time, she always worked and shit, right? And then one time she was leaving for some fucking reason, and she was gonna be gone for like 4 or 5 days. And then she trusts me like too much because I stayed home like by myself a lot.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm gonna go and do this fucking trip or whatever. I was probably like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And she's like, go to school and then go to your grandparents' house and stay at your grandparents' house until like Wednesday or whatever, and I'll come home. And I'm like, yeah, sure.
Sure.
Adios. And then I went to school. I'm like, party in my house every fucking day, like this and that, right? And then the first night I go out skateboarding and shit with my friends, and they all leave, and they're like, oh, we gotta go back home. And I'm like, I don't gotta do shit, right? Like my house had food, I was good.
Yeah.
And then I went and I was like, I'm just gonna ollie this gap. There was a little skate park thing that we used to go to.
Cool.
I'm like, I'm gonna ollie this gap one last time, and then I'm gonna go home. I fucking went to go ollie, I didn't make it, fractured my left leg right on the fucking thing.
Shit.
Fell down, fucking just fractured the shit out of it. And then I was like, fuck, what do I do? You know, because like I didn't go to my grandparents' house. And in retrospect, I probably could have just went that night.
Yeah.
But I'd already thought that I'd fucked up, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck, man, what am I going to do? So I went and I like shoplifted some fucking Epsom salt.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't even.
Yeah, that'll fix it.
I wasn't even slick about it. I was like walking like a zombie. You know, my foot's fucked. I just
my
grabbed the Epsom. I
God.
didn't have any cash because I was like poor and like 11. And I just put the Epsom salt under my shirt and like fucking hobbled out of the fucking store. Then I just got home and filled up a tub and just like sat in it for like 2 days.
Damn.
And then it was starting to feel better. And one of my buddies came over. He was like he played soccer every once in a while. He's like, you gotta fucking put like a splint on it.
Oh, yeah.
And he brought me like this fucking thing that you just strap on your leg. And then my leg felt way better. And I was like, cool. All right, I'll make it through this. And then the day before my mom comes home, I'm like all fucked up still with my leg. I invite a bunch of girls and my friends over. And then this girl was like saying something. And then I was just trying to be wild. And I threw water in her face and was like laughing, right?
Oh, God.
And she's like, motherfucker. And then my mom had like pretty nice furniture and like it was like an apartment with nice carpet and shit.
Yeah.
And then she throws water at me, right? And then my friends throw some water and like it's starting to calm down, and then I'm like, fuck this. So I go in my backyard and I grab my hose. We had like this little small
You're an
patio.
idiot.
And I walk back in, I'm like, what's up, bitch? And then, and then I blasted all of them with the hose. And then it just turned into this water riot inside my house. And
Yeah.
then they all bailed. And then my whole house was so. I took the pillows and my.
Well, if I was your mom, I would have beat you so bad.
I took the pillows. I was like, it'll be all right. I'll just flip them. They'll dry.
Oh, okay.
I can flip them over.
Flip them.
And then like literally my carpet was like squish, 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 squish.
Oh, gosh.
And then I was like, I'll open some windows. It'll be good. By the time she gets here tomorrow morning,
Yeah,
it'll be dry.
That's a no.
And then I just went and crashed. And then my mom came home the next morning and then walked into the wet floor. And then she started screaming at me, and then I come out, I'm in my underwear, I got this like janky ass thing on my leg. She's like, what are you doing home? Why is the house fucking wet as fuck? What is on your fucking leg? I'm like, no speak English.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
good one.
yeah, so that was a what the fuck moment.
Oh, your poor mom.
What about you guys? Any disobeying what the fuck
yeah,
stories?
always disobeyed, but man, like I remember. I mean, it wasn't like I didn't think it was crazy, but you know, we would sneak out of the house. Me and my other sibling. I don't want to put her on blast, but we would sneak out of the house and go to Sonic, buy ice cream.
Nice. We used to ditch school and go to Sonic. It was like an hour drive.
Sonic was like, yeah.
A couple of fucking rebels here.
Get some ice cream, then go back home, and it's like, ooh, danger.
I guess maybe the people at Sonic were like, what the fuck are these kids doing
12
here?
years old, thinking we're cool because you're in the street, you know. God.
I got suspended once for selling these. So Mortal Kombat came out for Sega, and the blood code ABACABB, right? So it came out. Every fucking kid in my school loved Mortal Kombat. Mm-hmm. My grandparents owned an air conditioning company, and they had an office under their house, and they had a big ass copy machine. And they used to get in trouble with this copy machine all the time. So when the internet first came out, I got on there. I got all the fatality codes and shit, and then I printed it out. Took it to school, and I was just showing my friends, and then everybody was like, "Oh, dude, let me buy that." And I was always like selling, and that was my thing too. I used to sell cigarettes, like one cigarette, like $3. I'd steal a pack from my mom.
Little entrepreneur.
Yeah, and then people were like, "Let me buy that fucking code book, right?" And I was like, "All right, $10, you know." And then they're like, "Okay, cool." And then, so I immediately went back to my grandparents and printed like 20 of these fucking things, right?
Yeah.
Went to school the next day, and then I sold a couple, and then there was a couple kids that are like trying to trade me shit, right? And I knew these fucking kids, dude, and they didn't have shit, and they were like trying to IOU me and shit, right? So I thought I was gonna be funny, right? And I was like, all right, you know what, fuck it. I will give you these, but I want your soul.
What the fuck?
And they were like, what? And I was like, I'm going to make a piece of paper. You sign your soul over to me, and you can have this code book. And then 3 of them did it, right?
Aww.
And I had these 3 pieces of paper, right? And then this little preppy chick saw me doing it, and she was like fucking like a Christian, whatever. And she went and ratted me out. And then the teacher took me to the principal, and then they read the fucking things in my backpack. God. And they're like, you can't be doing this shit. You know, we're going to call your parents and blah, blah, blah. And fucking, I had to give the papers back to the kids and
Here's
shit.
your soul back.
Here's your soul back. I'm sorry.
And then I got suspended for a day.
Damn, that's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, it was a what the fuck. My mom was like, what the fuck, dude? I was like, what are you doing?
Poor kids.
See, do we have a sponsor?
Yes, we do. This episode is brought to you by Dark and Jury Clothing. Dark and Jury is an edgy fashion and lifestyle brand that embraces great design and unsurpassed quality. Dark and Jury has quickly gained a following amongst fans of occult, horror, punk rock, heavy metal, and all-around free thinkers, and retailers worldwide without shoving a preachy, trendy, or political message down your throat. So buy the best, fuck the rest, darkandjuryclothing.com.
Fuck yeah. And also, my homie Stevie Weeby just launched his new website. I helped him work on it a bit, and he's got some new merch, so check that shit out. StevieWeebyShow.com. What else?
I have a working what the fuck.
Let's hear it.
So I
like you're working on it currently, or this happened?
No, like it happened while I was working. I was working at Starbucks in high school, and I had the closing shift, and so what the counter is like, the register's right here where I am, and then right in front of the register there's like a long booth and tables and chairs. And this one guy had came in earlier, like beginning of my shift, and was still there. I think it was like a 5-hour shift, and he's this like old guy, gray white hair. He was just like sitting in the booth directly in front of the register, like facing the register, reading a book. And so we're like, it's getting time to close. Like, me and Nora are the only ones there.
Yeah.
And we're like, how are we going to get this guy out of here? Like, you know, someone's got to
Just
tell
tell
him.
hey, get the fuck up.
And then all of a sudden, I see Nora just go and freeze. And she's staring right at the guy. And I was like, what's wrong? Like, what's wrong? And she's like, look under the table. His fucking dick was out of his shorts. On the chair.
Like he had
like on purpose?
Like he had an anaconda dick, or it was just popping
Old
out.
man, wrinkly dick and balls. Like, I thought he was like maybe European. He had the shorts on, you know, like the short shorts. Man shorts.
Oh,
like maybe he's European or something, or he was like, well, obviously he likes it for that reason.
Air circulation. Yeah.
And it was only me and Nora in the store, just the two girls. So we're like,
and his
what
balls.
the fuck do we do? Like, and has he been doing this the entire time and no one noticed?
But wait. So are you saying that he like pulled him out to the side?
Yes,
or
like
they were
lifted his shorts up even higher.
Or they're just naturally hanging out?
No, like lifted his shorts up as high as they could go and like pulled
just
it
being
out
clear.
of the bottom.
just want to clarify.
Just like sitting there on the seat.
He's displaying, peacocking, right?
Yeah, peacocking.
This motherfucker.
We were like, what the fuck?
Exhibitionist.
Did he make eye contact with Nora?
No, he was just reading a book the whole time.
Dude,
We're like, how long has his cock been out? Like, how has no one noticed this?
He's like, nobody's gonna see. It's under the table.
It was very visible. It's one of those little tiny round tables.
Oh, God.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I remember though working at McDonald's when I was 16 in the drive-thru, and back then I used to never smile at people like at all. I used to be like, "Fuck, I hate working, whatever." Mm-hmm. And I was working the drive-thru, and then the general manager was saying, you know, y'all have to smile. You know, y'all can't be rude. This is McDonald's. You have to smile. And I was like, whatever, you know. And then he surprises me and comes through the drive-thru, and I'm like, oh, and he goes, you didn't smile. That's an infraction. And I was like, what the. You know,
infraction?
Yeah, like what do you call it, write up or whatever? I don't know. And he literally came inside and wrote me up for not smiling. And he's like, "You need to smile. You need to be part of the mission, vision, whatever."
What the
I was
hell?
like, I fucking hate this job.
Yo, dog, I'm getting paid $5 an hour, dude.
Yeah,
It's
it
McDonald's.
was horrible.
Eat a dick, bro.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you guys how I met Adam, duffel bag guy?
How you met him?
Yeah.
I've heard before, but I don't think
At a
you
bar?
told the podcast people.
Or was that another dude? I don't know.
Duffel bag porn guy?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever told you.
Yeah.
So, like, when I was in middle school, I had these sideburns, right?
Yeah.
Already.
That was my thing, right? 6th grade, I had sideburns. Everybody's like, "What the fuck? How are you growing that?"
Sixth grade, I had giant tits.
Ooh.
They all started coming out. I had long arms.
And then Adam transferred to our school like a week in, right? And he had like full pork chop fucking sideburns, right?
Whoa.
You know, in 6th grade.
Uh-oh,
And then-
sideburn battle.
Yeah, right? And then I had some of my friends, this girl Crystal and Jeremy and a bunch of Matt Reynolds and all these fuckers. And we're up on the bleachers and they're like, "Oh, there's that dude, you know, blah, blah, blah. He's cool as fuck, you know." Adam used to draw dragons on his fucking pants. And he
my
was just
God.
like, he was like a Rob Zombie in 6th grade, right? And then he comes up and he's like, "What's up, man?" And I'm like, "Fuck off, dude." Like,
Yeah,
like I don't like you, dude. And then they're all like talking and shit, and then they were talking about his sideburns or something, right? And I remember I don't even remember the exact conversation, but something happened, and then Adam like dissed on me, and then he like stood up, and I was like, "Nope," and I boom, and I nailed it. We're on the top bleacher of these bleachers. And I fucking just nailed him. I'm like, "Nope, fuck you." And then he goes tumbling down the fucking thing, and then his
Poor
leg
Adam.
gets caught in like the bottom,
Oh my
the bottom bleacher, and he's like, you know, and like
Damn.
goes over, right? And then in my head, I thought people were gonna be like, "Oh shit, you fucked him up," but everybody was like, "What are you doing?" And they all like rushed down and like
Why would you
aided
do
him, right? And they're all down there looking at him, and then he just kind of looked up at me like "fuck you," you know, like I took the hit, but fuck you, right? So then we hated each other, and we were in class together, And I'm sitting behind him, and I hear him talking about because Jurassic Park the movie had just come out when we were little kids, right? Mm-hmm. And I hear him talking that he has the video game.
Cool.
Right? And you know, I'm a broke ass kid, you know, so all my video games are like for fucking 10 years before that. And I'm like, oh, you got fucking Jurassic Park, dude? You know, because it was like the first game that they switched from like bird's eye view to first person, you know, like in the commercial.
Okay.
And I was like, what? I wanted to see it, right? And then he was like, well, fuck you, I hate you, or whatever, right? I'm like, this fucking guy, dude. I'm like, I gotta play this game. So I waited till after school, and then I followed him to his house.
Oh, that's not creepy.
I trailed his ass all the way to his house, and he went in, and then I went and I just knocked on the door, and then he opened it up. He was like, what the fuck are you doing here? I'm like, I'm playing Jurassic Park, dude. And he's like, what? Get the fuck out of here. I'm like, nah, dude, I'm not leaving until I play Jurassic Park. And then he's like, fuck, come in, dude. You know, and then he like goes in, and then his mom, actually, she worked at McDonald's, his stepmom. Cool. Yeah. And then she was like, and I'm used to like, literally, I used to like fry bologna and like just like whatever garbage was in our fucking refrigerator, right?
Yeah.
And then his stepmom comes in, she's like, what do you guys want from McDonald's? And also, I'm used to like, if we do go to McDonald's, it's like the dollar menu, no matter what, right? Yeah. And I'm like, well, what can we have? And she's like, whatever you want. And I'm like, well, I want 2 Big Macs then. And she's like, okay, do you want anything else? And I'm like, I get more? And then she went and she gave it to us. And then he had like a bigger TV like than we had and stuff. So I'm like, dude, I'm never leaving. And then Adam's like, what the fuck, man? He's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, no, you're going to play this and then you got to go, dude. And then I just ended up going there like every day, playing games, eating McDonald's.
Forced a friendship.
Wow. Yeah, and then we just became best friends.
You're gonna be my friend. Oh, all right.
But he was definitely like, what the fuck, when I knocked on his door.
Yeah, I'm sure. Poor guy.
He followed him home. I'm gonna play that game.
Yep.
Do we have another sponsor?
Yes, we do. This episode is also brought to you by Mod Ministry. Mod Ministry merch creates for the edgy woman, the kind of woman who works hard but plays much harder, who embraces femininity but tests the societal limits. We are not for the faint of heart. We are bold. We are beautiful. Check out the Mod Ministry Etsy page for handmade harness lingerie. 5-star rated seller since 2014.
Yeah, strap that sexy shit on. Get your sexy face all framed with some Mod Ministry shit.
I feel so hot right now.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't feel very hot. I just feel...
Is this a D on your forehead?
I got the D in my mind. Yeah. My
Diego put the D on your forehead?
Yeah. He literally put the D on my forehead. With a little heart. With a lot of love.
Yeah.
What are some other what the fuck moments? When we became parents for the first time, when a newborn baby has a poop.
Oh yeah.
It's not like a little poop. It looks like alien vomit. It's all like seedy and
Girl, do we need to describe it?
Yeah.
Literally I was like,
somebody might be eating right now.
I was like, what the fuck is it? Like freaked me out when I saw it. I was
it
like,
yellow?
Yeah, it was
like mustard.
Mustardy.
Yeah, didn't it always mustard?
Like transluctive with seeds.
Dijon.
With like pumpkin seeds
I don't
in it.
Think about it.
And I was like, oh my god, is he okay? Like what is this? You know, so to all those people expecting that have never had a kid before, look forward to that.
Expect the Dijon mustard poopy.
Yeah.
How cute.
Dude, I got so many what the fuck stories. I remember I had a sleepover one time. And my mom,
sleepover.
Yeah, my mom, she used to sauce it up, and my buddy Matt came, and he stayed in my house, and this particular guy was like kind of annoying, he was just one of those ones where like he was like barely a friend, Yeah. But I was like, whatever. So he came over and we were gonna play Mario Kart and shit.
Cool.
And then he was just being a fucking ass like the whole night. Just like doing stupid shit. He's one of those kids that like when he plays and he loses, he like beats your controller on the ground.
Damn it. Yeah.
Shit like that, dude. And
sore loser.
and he was like a little wealthier.
Yeah.
And if my controller breaks, like I'm done.
Oh,
You know, so
Yeah,
I kept telling him, like, dude, stop fucking doing that shit, you know? And then I went and took a shower, and I came back, and I had my towel, like, on my shoulders, and then he was playing, and then he fucking did it again, and I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna fucking tell you again, like,
oh shit,
stop hitting my controller on the ground. And then he's like, what are you gonna do about it, bitch, right? And then I'm like, alright, dude. And I had this wet towel on my shoulders.
Oh my god.
And so I, like, wound it up real quick, right? I was like, I'm gonna fuck you up. And then he, like, stood up like he was gonna do something. And it was just one of those, like, 1 in a million. I just, like, whipped it. Like, my intention was to just kind of whip it, like, close to his face.
Yeah.
But I have a long arm, and when you're a kid, like, you kind of don't know your own strength or how long your arms are. So I had this super tightly wound wet towel, and then I just had this perfect snap. And I just snapped it across his whole fucking face. And he put this big ass, like, Braveheart fucking
I would have
welt
started crying.
all across his face and on his neck. And he just, like, keeled over, and he's like, "Aah!" You know, like, fucking crazy. And it was, like, instant, like, swelling.
Oh no! Oh shit!
And then I was like, fuck. And then he got up and he started crying, and then he runs to my phone, you know, that was on the wall, and he calls his mom, and he's like fucking sobbing and screaming.
Oh my god.
And his mom was like super, like, you know, like, I don't know, the overprotective is the word, you know? And then so she comes flying over, right, to pick him up, and then she opens the door and she starts bitching at me, and, like, screaming, and then my mom is like all sauced. So my mom comes out of her room fucking like, what the fuck is going on? You know, and then I'm like, oh, he was like trying to break my stuff, and I whipped him in the face, and then she was like, you know, he's a little fucking prick, get him out of here, you know. And then mom's like, he'll never be here again. He'll never come here again. And we're like, she's like, God riddance, you know, fucking slams the door.
Oh god.
But yeah, it was like, it fucked him up for like a day or two. He had like a big ass mark at school and stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I thought I had like done some damage, so I was like a little scared.
In our household as kids, we used to play with that particular wet towel like that.
Really?
And that shit would hurt because it's so heavy. It's got weight, and
Yeah.
it hurts so bad.
It's all about the snap.
Oh
I can still, when I hit him in the face, I can still hear that in my head right now. And that happened when I was a little kid.
Did you
Poor
feel
guy.
bad about it?
Yeah, I felt instantly. I felt bad. I was
You're
like, oh shit.
Whoops.
But your brother, you ever get your brother?
Oh man, one time I almost broke this little boy's arm at school though. Like I tried to hit my brother, but I could never get him. They always get me. Let's not get into it. It's too quick. But there was this little kid that was just short kid at school, right? And I would feel like I could punk him because he was so small.
Yeah.
And then I was
Picking
like,
on the small ones.
yeah.
Huh?
And then he's like, whatever, I'm a boy, I'm still stronger than you. And I was like, no, you're not. You know, I'm in 6th grade, so I'm like 11.
Yeah.
And then he goes, I'm gonna arm wrestle you. And then all the kids got around like, yeah, you're gonna arm wrestle.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, you know, let's do it. And we're going at it, right? We start going at it, and he's like, like clearly struggling. And I'm like, haha, I got this little fucker, you know? And then in my evil self, I just dipped deeper into my evil self, and I was like, I'm gonna go all the way and like break his arm.
Just give him 100%.
For some fucking reason, I was like, fucking evil. And he's like, stop. And I was like, just keep going. And he's like, stop. And I was like, oh shit. So then I let go, and I was like, okay, man. Like, you know? And then I got like suspended for a fucking week because he literally had to wear a cast, and then he would never talk to me again. And we went to all the same schools, you know, all the way to high school, and he would always give me the fucking fuck you look.
Here's the girl that broke
like,
my arm.
I was like, oh damn.
Looking over the top.
Damn.
Yeah, and I was like, ooh, I got too into it. Yeah. That was crazy. Oh my god, look. Melting.
I'm melting.
I got one more for you, fucking what the fuck story. So like, I don't know if you guys know, but when you are an alcoholic and you drink, there's different stages, right? And any kids that grew up with alcoholic parents know these stages. First stage, they're super happy, super like playful. Second stage, they're like giving, like, hey, anything you want, you can have. Then the third stage is it starts to turn a little darker. they're starting to get depressed. Fourth stage, they're starting to get like violent or lashing out in some way. And then if they're real hardcore, the fifth stage, they'll actually hallucinate.
Damn.
If you drink enough, you will hallucinate.
Crazy.
Right? So my mom was on a little bit of a binger one time. And kind of like Kylie and her sister fight a lot. They love each other, but they kind of, there's always that civil, whatever.
No comment.
Rivalry. Well, my mom and my aunt, Shell, who's her younger sister, they had the same kind of thing going on. And my aunt Shell had a little red truck, Toyota Tacoma. And my mom had been fucking slamming SoCo all day, right? And then she was going to do some laundry. And I'm like, whatever. Like, she can't get in any trouble. Just walk into the laundromat and back.
Yeah.
And then she goes, and then she comes back like 4 or 5 minutes later. She's like running and stumbling into the house. Right?
Oh, God.
And I'm like,
Did she try to drive?
No. She just went to the laundromat, right? And then I'm like, that's not good, right? And my room faced, because like it was like a box, the apartment, and then there was like a little hallway, and you could go either left or right into the two apartments. And my bedroom was right on the edge of where you walk in, right? So I hear her stumbling and running in, slamming the door, locking everything real quick, and I was like, that's probably not good, right? So I peek out the window and I see our laundry's like all over the fucking place, right? And I'm like, oh man, god damn it, And then she's on the phone and she's like talking to somebody, and then I'm like, who are you talking to,
Yeah.
And she's like, Douglas. That's my middle name. She's like, Douglas, shut up. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening, right? And then I start to see people like outside, right? And I'm like, what is happening, right? And then a fire truck pulls up, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I see him get out, and then I see him run into the hallway, and I'm like, that's weird. Are they gonna come into my fucking house? And I hear, open up, boom, 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 boom. But it's not it's not my door. It's not my door.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, what the fuck is that, right? And I know my neighbors, they were always like, they kind of annoyed me, but they're always kind of worried about whatever was going on in my thing, so they were always like talking to me. So I knew they were out of town. I'm like, they're not even home. And then I hear, boom, and the fire department kicks the door open. And,
no.
And then they're like, Michelle, right? And I'm like, that's my aunt's name, right? And then I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And then I'm like, Mom, what the fuck is happening? She's like, your aunt is out of control, right? She's all loopy. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's not even here. She's like, I tried to do laundry, and your aunt, I saw your aunt's truck, and then she was like talking shit in the laundromat, and then she said she was gonna go set this apartment on fire to piss me off, right? And I was like, there's no way that's true, right? And then I like look out, and there is a little red Toyota truck, right? So I'm like, is my aunt here?
Yeah.
Right? And so then I go out, and then there's, like I said, there was other people that gathered right before the fire truck. And I go out, and then I'm looking, and then the blonde lady's like, she's like, is that your mother that ran in there? Was she just in the laundry room? Because she just pushed me and like started calling me Michelle and talking all this shit and blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
right?
no.
So I guess she had just pulled in and got out of that truck and then was like going to go do laundry or some shit.
Just another day doing laundry.
And my mom, like, somehow her brain just turned that lady into my aunt.
Yeah.
And then she called the cops and the fire department, and they kicked in the door, and they're looking for my aunt who's supposed to be in arson.
Damn.
Did you call your aunt and be like, you're wanted by the firefighters?
No, but then the fire department comes and starts knocking on my door, right? Because they're like, they know she called it in. It came from our apartment. And then, it was like this whole thing. I had to call my godfather, Sam, to come over and like talk them out of like arresting my mom.
Oh my God.
And then they had to contact our neighbors in the apartment complex and because they had just leveled the fucking door to the neighbor's house, and all their stuff's in there. It's all exposed. Yeah, and I was just like, what the fuck?
Damn, Mom, you were lit.
She's been sober since since I was probably 16. So it's been a long time. So I'm proud of her. She had a really wild time from having me to when I was 16, but she pulled through after that. So props to Mom.
Great. Yeah, that's good.
But yeah.
Well.
All right. Well, we got life in the comments section.
We do. See, this one's from YouTube, from Carol Manchester. That's your aunt, right?
That's my other aunt.
That is his aunt. Garth Brooks is the bomb. I'm gonna marry that man someday.
Calm down, Aunt Carol.
Garth Brooks is pretty awesome. I'm sure I've said it before.
I don't get it.
I love it. I grew up on country.
Yeah.
I mean, look at me now. You never know. But I grew up listening to like Alan Jackson, Garth Brooks, Brooks and Dunn.
The classics.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't get it. I can't get into country.
Country's good.
I used to sing at our shows, like if something went wrong, like guitar fucking broke or drums broke. We'd have this little guitar lick that my buddy would play, and then I'd go, "Baby, if you don't love me, I don't give a fuck. Don't pet my dog. Get the fuck out my truck. I hope you burn in hell."
It was like your what do you
Was
call
everyone quiet?
Yeah, we just do like stupid shit until we could get it all up and going again.
That's funny.
But yeah, that's like every country song to me. Just
Yeah.
fucking some guy talking about his dog.
Yeah.
And his fucking truck or tractor.
Okay.
What's the next one?
From YouTube, Bitter Batwing Minister of Madness.
Yeah.
Says,
Shout out.
Yeah. He says, I have nightmares all the time. For some reason, I always enjoy them. They're one of my inspirations for my writings. Sometimes I have dreams about communicating with the ghosts that haunts my house.
Okay. So this person, I don't know, guy or girl.
It's a dude. I recognize him. Shout out to him because he's on our YouTube. He supports a lot.
Yeah, shout out.
He's on our Instagram too a lot.
But he can communicate with ghosts? He's like a medium?
Well, he says he's has dreams about communicating with the ghosts.
Is this
that
from our?
haunts
Must be
his
from our
house.
nightmare episode.
So
Yeah.
maybe he communicates with them in his sleep. That's pretty badass.
Oh my God, record yourself and let us know
Yeah.
what you see.
Start a vlog.
Yeah, please.
Leave the camera rolling at night on you.
Or don't.
Susana's being a creeper, right?
I mean,
A live feed so Susana can watch you. See him start levitating. In his bed and shit.
Shit. Oh my God, I'm into that kind of shit. That's why your friend's movie, I've got to see it. Because it's creepy, but I got to see it. Have y'all seen the Chucky trailer?
Yeah.
I haven't seen
That shit creepy.
It looks badass.
Oh man, okay.
You watched that? I thought you were terrified.
I watched it with Diego and the Bride of Day.
In the bright. The sunniest
Like
spot I could
right by the
find.
window, like la la la, and he's like, "Let's watch it." And I'm like, "No," because he's such a scaredy cat too, with scary movies and stuff like that. But I was like, "How are they gonna make it work?" And I was like, "Okay, I'm curious because how do you redo that movie?"
You update him.
And then he's connected to the app,
Yep.
and that's all we're gonna say. So
She's the same way with scary stuff. I was trying to get her to watch The Haunting of Hill House. And then we were watching it, and then I was like, all right, I'm going to jump in the shower real quick, and I come back, and she's watching, like, some fixer-upper, happy shit. I'm like, what happened to Hill House?
Like, if you're gonna make me watch something scary,
Stay
you have to
with
be in
me.
the room.
yeah, stay there, goddammit. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no man, I don't like watching nothing scary by myself. I've had paranormal experiences, and I'm nervous thinking about it, but yeah.
I love scary stuff. I used to go to sleep to, like, Twilight Zone, Tales from the Crypt.
How
all
do
the time.
you do
But
that?
that's not like,
It's entertaining.
I don't know, that's not that scary.
I used to watch Candyman. I used to watch all kinds of stuff before I'd go to bed.
Yeah, I just can't watch it and then go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta watch like a cartoon movie or
Yeah.
something happening funny.
Care Bears.
Yeah.
Fixer-upper.
Damn.
All right, you guys got any shout-outs?
Shout out to my husband for this wonderful.
Yeah, shout out to my husband.
Shout
I'm
out to me.
melting.
And Diego, wherever Diego is right now.
Yeah, check out the Patreon to see what the inspiration was behind these arts.
My shout outs. Same old stuff. We're still working on our record. I was helping Stevie Weeby out. Craig Efros, shout out. I think that's it.
Sweet.
What about you? Danny Filth?
No comments. I'm done. Can I take my makeup off now?
I really want to take this shit off.
One last what the fuck. Kylie was driving around, and you tell the story, and then you saw a car. And it was,
what story? Oh, the Miata.
Yeah. This stems from when I was in summer school one time, and I had that friend Matt. He had an obese mom with an old car, and it was super hot one day, and I was like, "Hey, can I get a ride?" Because they lived in my neighborhood, and she turned straight. She was elderly. She had them when she was really old, and she was really big. And she turned to me and she said, "You'll weigh the car down." I was like, "Bitch!" And then she drove off. Right. You know, so I was telling her that story, and then she told me this one. All right.
We were still living in San Jose, and we're like on the freeway in traffic, and I look over, and there's like this huge fat guy in this little tiny Mazda Miata 2-seater. And then I get behind him, and I see the bumper sticker says "No fat chicks." The car will scrape.
And he takes off, and the back goes. God damn it! God damn you!
This is so funny.
Dope. All right, guys. Till next time. See you later.